Welcome to Inhale Exhale. This is the Colombia edition, sports edition. We're hanging out with Hitta to my left here. And one of my best friends in the world, Desi Relaford, ex-baseball player. We're kicking it. Happy birthday, bro.
Appreciate you, my dude.
Lord Funk Actors in the joint, like always.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
yo.
We are in Cartagena, Colombia, in the historic walled city, sitting in a wonderful location. It's called Normal Restaurante. Make sure that when you check it out, come to Cartagena, partake this restaurant. Great food. Shout out to the owner for allowing us this space. We really appreciate it. And today, we're just talking about the sports and cannabis. And I felt like the best people to talk about that with was Champ and my man right here, Desi. And then obviously we're gonna talk a little bit about weed, man. The weed is the whole premise of this show. You know what I mean? Inhale, exhale, we're sharing information. And my first question for the athletes at the table is, how did it go? Did you have a relationship with cannabis while you were playing your sport? Now that you're out of the league, doesn't matter, you know what I mean? So we could be kind of candid about that. So I know a lot of guys use cannabis for muscle, pain relief, and I know there's a lot of anxiety about playing sports and everything. So I'm just gonna let y'all talk. Y'all share with us whatever y'all want to share with us. But wait, Dennis, first tell us who you played for and a little bit about your past and your history a little bit.
Okay. I got drafted by the Seattle Mariners way back in '91. Broke into the big leagues with Philadelphia in '96. Played for parts for 11 years in the major leagues with 7 different teams. So I played with Philly, Seattle, Kansas City, San Diego, Texas, New York Mets, Kansas City Royals, Colorado Rockies.
7 runner on second for Desi Relaford, facing Brownswell. Patrick Brownswell, you lost. Relaford had a career-high 4 hits. Doug Lenville's scores were tied at 5.
Yeah, you played almost there.
I played for, all the time zones covered, you know what I mean? I was fortunate enough to, hang around for a little bit and play for some cool organizations and, live out a dream.
Which one would you say is your favorite organization that you played for?
Oh man, for different reasons. I think my funnest team, as far as the actual guys on the team, was my Kansas City stint. But playing in New York was amazing.
I mean, you can't beat New York City.
It's really tough to beat New York City. But then you go to San Diego and you're like, wow, I never want to leave. You know what I'm saying? So
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful down there. So man, there's we play in all the best cities in the country. So it's real hard to be, I liked all of them.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah,
I can dig it. I mean, what about now though? Now you.
Oh, but the question when you said about how I had, was using weed as a player, I'm gonna be straight up. Like, if I wouldn't have started smoking weed, I would not have made it.
Why you say that?
I say it because baseball is one of those games where you can't be a perfectionist, for one, because you fail so often.
Right.
The best hitters hit 300. That means 7 out of 10 times they failed.
30%.
Right? 30%. That's a Hall of Fame guy.
Wait. So you get paid. So cats can get paid hundreds of millions of dollars for being good at their job. 30% of.
You can't do that at any other job anywhere. You're gonna last a week doing 30% of what you have to do. Wow. It's mind blowing because baseball, and this is not just me saying it as a ball player. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. All of them. It's the hardest thing to do. Hand-eye, you got less than half a second to recognize pitch. Is it a strike? Is it a ball? Am I swinging? Curveball, fastball, whatever. It's hard. So if you're 30%, you're a boss. You know what I'm saying? You're getting it in. So it's tough. It's a tough gig. So for me, being a perfectionist, it's really a bad sport to be in. I'm beating myself up on the nightly. You know what I'm saying? So having a relatively fucked up mindset some days, when you done been beat up for a few days or a week and you just you start to doubt whether or not you have it.
Right.
Can I make it?
Right.
Am I good enough?
Right.
And I was just really kind of a hothead and a little, short-tempered, and the weed really helped me settle down. Yeah, after a game, instead of going back, beating myself up, I could blow one, relax, and really think about what happened,
Balance you out.
what I could do to be better tomorrow,
Right.
without beating myself up mentally and telling me I sucked and you're never gonna make it, because you can't have negative self-talk. He knows this as a professional athlete. You have to talk, even as a regular person. You have to talk to yourself like you love yourself, and give yourself, really good advice and comfort yourself instead of telling yourself you suck and that you're not good. But in a game like baseball, it's really hard to kind of fall that way because you fail so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I wouldn't have started smoking, I wouldn't have made it.
You know what? I'm curious about, like, not like putting anybody out there, but I'm just kind of curious about how many people were smoking and playing at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a
They opened a bunch of.
yeah, we had our crew. Like, I came up in the steroid era. So there was the guys who did steroids and did all that. They knew who they were. They hung out, they did their stuff. Then you got your boys who blow. And you find them, whether he's on your team, whether he's on the other team. Yeah, we'd heads flock to each other. That's what we do.
Facts.
So, you go to a city, hey, bro, I got you. You don't worry about it. I got you. Hit your boy off, give him a sack. Same thing when I go to Oakland or when I go to Texas or whatever, I got somebody. So it's just, we had our little community, and yeah, that's how you're supposed to do.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel that, as being a professional athlete, that maybe smoking could have potentially hindered any of your performance? Or two-part question. And also, were you ever blown while in the game?
All right. So I do think that there's definitely the potential to hinder your performance because, if you blowing some kills, sometimes it can just rob you of your intensity and your will to want to do anything.
No, that's true.
Right. So you can just, you get that indica or something and you just want to not do much. But that's when you have to be disciplined and put yourself in a situation to use it as medicine and not just to be getting, just blowing just to be blowing. And we've all done that. But when you have a job to do, I'm saying, you got to be disciplined.
Facts.
And, and you have to do that. Now, to say, I won't say that I've been blown just
blew the day and then went out there and started.
and then got on deck. You know what I'm saying? And then never that.
Right. Okay.
I definitely would blow before games. Before I got to the park.
7 innings of work. Top of the 8th, and Desi Relaford.
Yeah.
Keep my head chill.
Right.
Just keep me in a calm mindset. Because I know myself. Like if I don't do what I want to do, I can get a little.
I mean, this is for both of y'all. The anxiety of being a pro athlete has to be just tremendous. I mean, the pressure, because you're being paid a lot of money. There's tens of millions of people watching Raw all the time. There's 3 or 4 guys ready to take your spot.
Absolutely.
Without
So I can only imagine, and I'm blessed to have a lot of my friends that are athletes. And I personally have never been the best at anything that I've done. So I really appreciate you guys doing what you're doing. And, but I know just from conversations with you, the majority of it is the mental fortitude. I mean, all these guys talented on an equal level to a certain point in regards to the pro game. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Stuff, but it's the mental aspect.
Right.
Mental game
Separates
gets you over the edge and separates you.
Right.
The dedication, your focus to your craft. You know what I mean? To put you over the edge.
That's the difference.
To the great. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not I'm not a big dude. Y'all know I'm from 5'9", 180 pounds, not a big guy. There's a lot of guys that I played with that I thought were better than me.
Yep.
Top 6, Lopez lifts the fly to shallow center. Desi Relaford colliding with Hamilton. Relaford able to hang on.
Maybe had better skills. I won't say a lot, but there were guys that were better than me.
Yeah.
Not to downplay my skills, but there was other things that I did better. I was more disciplined. I got my sleep. You know what I'm saying? I stayed staying out of clubs, staying late night.
Yeah.
That's where weed helps.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be out and be in front of everybody trying, living that life.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew my job. So, I go on the road. If I have my PlayStation and a sack, I'm good.
So I may chime in. I heard you mention your, your size, and speaking to the, shorter guys that's out in the leagues or that's looking to, potentially be a professional. I know that height isn't and weight isn't like normally conducive with professional sports. Being a pro athlete. So What would you give any advice to guys that's maybe smaller that's telling people that they can't make it?
Well, one thing is you can't listen to anybody.
Come on.
You got to listen to yourself. Like if you know you got it and you want it, you have to follow every ounce of that of your being, because there's a lot of people, and they were, oh man, you ain't gonna make it. You too little.
Facts.
You black. You know what I'm saying? Why you playing baseball?
Right.
All these different things I heard coming up, but baseball was always because I played all the sports. Played basketball. Extremely hard to be 5'8", 5'9", playing basketball at a high level. Yeah. And not saying the guys don't do it. There's been a few.
Yeah,
right.
few.
And then in football, right? In football, yeah, there are guys that are 5'8", but they're
210. Facts.
Whatever. You might find a quarterback that's not that big, but these guys are crazy athletic,
right?
Whatever. But for me, baseball, there's really there's no size. The size of your heart matters, and your skill set. Now, one thing, you have to be strong.
Right.
You can be small, but you got to be strong.
Yep.
So baseball is one of those sports where, because I don't care if this dude's 300 pounds.
Right.
He's not finna put hands on me. We're not tackling. Right. I don't have to post you up.
Right.
I just got to hit this ball, man.
Right.
I got to catch this ball. I got to use baseball. I got to do me.
Yeah.
So no matter who you are. And for me, that was an edge for me. Like, I play big guys. I'm like, we're on the same level now.
Right, facts.
What positions you play, bro?
Well, I broke in as a shortstop. That's what I got drafted as. So my 6-hole. So I had my first 4 or 5 years in the big leagues, I played solely shortstop.
Okay.
And then, once again, the level of competition is crazy. So in order for me to stay in the league, I had to move around and learn other positions. So then I began to play second, short, or third, all the outfield positions, and became this super utility guy. Yeah. I could play all the positions. Yeah. So that kept me in the league. I played for 11 years. So.
Right. This is not easy to do.
Not at all. That is not back to back, man. Facts.
Still believe top of the eighth, 6'5" expos, man on for Desi Relaford. That's a big shot.
Lift and separate.
I believe, Brian.
For a black man to stay in the MLB for longer than a lot of years nowadays as a shortstop.
Right.
Yeah. Salute, Jack.
No doubt, my D.
Salute.
I mean, I'm not like, to be totally real with you, I didn't know much about baseball to be limited. You know what I mean? I was able to ask those real questions. And I watched baseball. It was always kind of boring to me.
Sure.
When you understand the game a little bit more, after talking to you, understand like some of the nuances of the game and the strategy behind it and why they do the pitch counts, or why they set up the batters, how they set up the batters and stuff like that. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, I get it now. I see it. It's more of a game. It's really like a real strategic sport,
Right. Very much so.
So I appreciate it a whole lot more, and I love watching it in the park. There's nothing like watching it in the park. We saw it live. I watched it live.
Where was that?
I went to go see
the Suns?
Giants. No.
Oh.
I went to see the Giants.
Back then?
Still Stadium, and the stadium over there.
That's a beautiful stadium, man.
It was just amazing. There was so much going on in the stands.
Yeah.
I was paying attention to what's going on the field as much. It was like so much excitement, and everybody's there, and there's like they're really a part of the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm sure like NFL fans and boxing fans and all of them are all part of the game. But baseball has this tradition that's been around for 100 years or so,
over that.
It's like, all the little chants, all the little things that they do. It was just cool because I didn't know what the hell was going on, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just cool to watch it when you see it from that point of view. You have a totally different perspective on the game, on the sport.
Indeed. You remember the time that we had that session with the mascot for the Giants before the game? This man, we was on the Giants bus, blowing it down in the back of the bus with
Blowing down.
the mascot. Shout out Lucille. No bullshit. We went to the game.
Spicy margarita.
We was in the game after and everything, and Desi was the guy shooting out the t-shirts and everything, man.
Wait. So you talking about this man? Hold on. I said utility, man. You was
All that.
real for real.
I was a mascot and everything.
Yes, man. Yes. And I bear witness, I was with this guy. We literally smoked out before the game.
3-0, bottom two, though. The Phillies have cut it to 3-2, and Desi Relaford gets into one from Blair.
Mind you, this is my roommate.
Yeah.
I had no idea. He'd come home after like an hour after me every night with a beer in his hand, eyes glazy, just happy.
Yeah.
But he knew I wasn't on that shit, so he did his thing before he come back.
Yeah.
He's like, you really want? So he had the other guy on the team,
Okay.
The other smoker.
The other smokers. So they came through. Yo, it was the best night ever. He came through, nigga blew. Had the little wooden dugout thing.
Yeah.
Smoked that. And yo, it was the best night ever, bro. Like, I laughed all night. We told jokes. It was funny. I ate a whole box of Apple Jacks. Nigga,
Wow.
the whole box, nigga. The niggas.
All 19 ounces.
All right.
Just was able to take
Yo,
the
stop.
edge off, man.
I was able to, well, it allowed me to take the edge off and just not be so goddamn uptight.
Yeah.
And just
All
like,
in your head and
go,
shit, you know,
just do what you know you're working for. Like, dude,
Yeah.
you're good. Right. Just go out there and allow yourself to be good.
Yeah.
And
How
not
long
let
before
yourself
you got
get in
it
the
hit?
way. I went 2 for 3 the next day and I ain't stopped smoking since.
Hello.
That's an asshole.
Hello. Hey.
Yeah, that was
We
1993.
need
That was 1993. I went 2 for 3 the next day. I ain't got a drink. It stinks right now, but you know what I mean? Senor. But yeah, that's how it started, man. I was a 0 for 23, went in blue, went 2 for 3 the next day, and I haven't stopped. So look,
Ain't looked back.
It's kind of like a little bit off topic, but it's just some baseball shit.
all right.
I want to know who the toughest pitcher was, who that you got a hit off of, one of them Hall of Famers, that really makes you just feel good about yourself.
That's one. That kind of comes to the point. Randy Johnson, everybody knows, big unit. 6'10", Hall of Fame, threw 100 miles an hour.
A complete game, 3-hit shutout.
Randy Johnson has won 300 games, and you can say he has punched his ticket to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York.
I owned his ass for the most part. What? I hit a home run off. I hit over 300 off of the
And you ain't got a drink, because I'm going to toast to that one alone.
off the unit.
Yes, he was the cat. You 300 average
Oh,
on the unit. Over 300
you know who
average.
CC Sabathia is?
Absolutely. The nigga's from Oakland. I ain't going to say that.
He's from Vallejo.
Excuse me. He's from the
Bay,
Bay.
okay, from the Bay, though. My dude. Like, me and CC kick it before or after games. Like, if he in my city, we kicking it. After game, when we in Cleveland, I'm fucking with you. Yeah, he could not get me out. It was hard for him. Now, there's guys that I just sucked against, but there's just some guys I did well against. Yeah. There were some really good guys that I did well against.
Nice. Nice.
You know, it's kind of like matchups in football or basketball. Yeah. Like, there's some you either just see something, you just see it good, or there's something he can't do that you're, whatever. Yeah. I couldn't tell you why. I know why with the unit, like those guys, because they threw hard.
Yeah.
Did
Guys
you
that
bat
throw
right-handed
hard
against the unit or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay.
I switch it.
Oh, this
I
man's
switch it.
ambidextrous.
Yeah, so, but I face, and both of those guys are left-handed, and my right, I told you the other day.
Yeah, you said you
I'm better from the left hand.
more
I'm
left-handed than
better
right-handed.
from the left hand. So even
Ladies
though
and
my
gentlemen,
right
this man
side
is crazy.
even though my right side is my natural side. But just because the number of pitchers in the big leagues, most of them are righties, you're just going to hit left-handed more often. So if I got 500 at bats in a season, total 400 of them will be from the left side.
Right.
So you might go a week or two not see a lefty, and then
Yeah.
now you got to fucking figure some shit out.
Yeah.
That's why you got to keep working every day.
From San Francisco, California, here is Karim Mayfield.
I want to flip it up now and talk to the hard hitter.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about some boxing, because
Yeah, man.
that's my favorite sport of all time. 'Cause I grew up all through the '80s, and my dad, all he was watching was Larry Holmes, and my dad's gonna kill me. My dad thought he was Sugar Ray Leonard. I swear, he used to dress like the dude.
See, he was swagged up. Right. I mean, he was swagged up then. Absolutely. I see it, man. Passed down.
You know, me and you talked plenty times about the boxing thing, and I know you were telling me that you were kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of want to get into the hard hitter story.
Right.
I know you didn't start until later. You was just knocking cats out in the streets.
Now you doing, man? I was, man. Back then, I was a youngster coming up in the city streets, San Francisco, and back then, I grew up in the hood, Fillmore, and people would say, San Francisco, they got hoods in the city, man. They got hoods, man. We was definitely affected, by the war on drugs, and man, they definitely hit my community real strong, and Yeah, you know, as Ron mentioned, that, you know, shit, I was definitely knocking cats out, but not as a bully though. I was like more so, to be honest, I was protecting cats. You know what I mean? Like I was protecting dudes that was like 6'4". I'm down there only about 4'6" myself.
So you was the hero for the bully.
Yeah, I was absolutely, man. They called me a hood. They called me they called me the bully beater. The bully beater, man. Yes, gracias. And then so yeah, man. They you know, and then coming up though, I would fight in the streets though, but I was never had no malice or mean mentality where I was just want to fight people or was bullying on cats. But nevertheless, man, I started late as you mentioned, and they had opened up a boxing gym right in the hood at this continuation school right up in the street called Ida B. Wells.
How old were you when you started?
I started
You started late.
I started at 19. Yeah, that's pretty late. Yeah, that's late for boxing for sure. So I started 19.
Mike Tyson was like Champ.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. I just start training.
Picture perfect right hand from Karim Mayfield.
Ronald never saw it. He never got really.
No, yeah, and you know, and I didn't have like this. I only had about 40 amateur fights as an amateur. But I mean, considering the fights that I had in the hood, you know, they definitely gave me skill. They definitely gave me skill, gave me heart for sure. If anything, you know. But as I had began to move forward, I had to figure out that conditioning was key. You know, the jab was key, and I mean overall, your mental health was key, man, because that's all that you know embodies a sport overall.
Who trained you, bro? Who's your inspiration?
So my inspiration. So yeah, so who trained me? The original guy was OG Johnny Mason. He was an OG guy from rest in peace, 80 years old. Shout out to Johnny Mason, rest in peace, OG pugilist, man. He taught me, man, you gotta use a jab like a blind man uses cane. You know that's what he used to say. So you know, anyhow, he passed, but the owner of the gym, Ben Batista, is the one that actually opened the gym. He took me on and actually brought me all the way. Shouts out to Coach Ben Batista, man, for getting me thus far. And yeah, man, you know, like I said though, just even coming up and training, though, I had also trained with Virgil Hunter. That's the trainer of Andre Ward. Yes, I was able to spend a couple of years with him after my coach had he moved out to Vegas, and it was kind of didn't work out with me actually moving at that time. So I trained with Virgil Hunter. That was a good look. I learned a whole lot, and defended my titles a few times fighting under him.
Speaking of titles, let's talk about that. When did you get your first title fight? What was that like? I knew your heart had to be pounding in your chest.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's be real.
Absolutely. Facts.
Like you know, I understand that everybody, like especially in boxing, it's like a tough guy sport, right? You know what I mean? Where you don't want to show that you're afraid. Or
no, right? No, for real.
Like, kind of like.
No, yes, right. Oh yeah, man. You know, you gotta, as you said, fear's a natural instinct. You gotta have it, and if you don't, you may be going in blind. You know.
Forbes early in his career uses his feet, it's a right hand. He gets caught again with the right hand. Again, he lunges, leans forward, and he's in trouble. He's trying to survive. A series of punches from the unbeaten Mayfield on the attack, and this fight is over. TKO victory.
You know, on your side, Reed.
Yeah, man.
Your most toughest opponent.
What's your nemesis?
Your nemesis.
But I had a nemesis, but we never fought. Hank Lundy, yeah, nigga. I'm talking about you, Hank. Hank and Frank, we never fought. But nevertheless, I say, well, for different reasons though. I had tougher opponents. One tougher opponent was, you know, actually my first loss when I had fought Thomas Delorme on HBO, and I had, and that was the toughest opponent because for one, I only had 4 weeks to train for that fight, so that I really beat myself. For two, my trainer didn't train for me for the camp. Shouts out to Virgil Hunter, but hey, he was in England at Amir Khan's camp. I should have been getting me ready. But I wasn't, you know what I mean? No, not at all. No, I never lost. No, yeah, never beat up better than Bruce.
And you just lost. It's not, I don't want to make you lose your spot, but I know 4 weeks seems like a really short amount of time.
It is.
How long is what you normally need to get ready for a fight?
Like 12, eight, no less than 8.
No less than 8.
Yeah, no less than 8. Yeah, at least 3.
At least a month.
Yeah. So I had literally 4 weeks. So then and I'm not just throwing excuses, but in Atlanta, so when I was in Atlantic City, so can imagine my coach didn't show up, and he showed up for the weigh-ins though to be there at the weigh-ins, but he was at Americana at that point. That was my first fighting for on HBO, so I wasn't making the money for him to, I guess, be there. He was there for Americana to do a press conference, which he should have been out there with me getting me ready, to be honest.
Coach.
But yeah, but nevertheless, so my manager, Google it. His name was he was arrested the day of the weigh-ins.
Oh, this shit.
Yes, feds for the feds came to get him for the feds had did some entrapment shit and arrested him for murder.
That's no good for
This is on at the weigh-ins. So listen. No, this is right before the fight. This is on Thursday. So people calling me like, Reem, you on the news? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm fighting on HBO, nigga. They're like, yeah. They're like, no, nigga, for this. Like, because there's of course they put my name in it. Like, because he was a sports agent. He was the youngest sports agent ever. He was from my hood too, a square dude from my hood. That grew up in the hood, that went to the school.
He wasn't that square.
No, right? No, but no, but he ended up getting it was entrapment. That's how he was. Like, I don't know. I just feel like a street cat would have kind of been able to tell nigga that, like, oh, this nigga, why is he asking me for guns and you supposed to be the plug? So anyhow, make a long story, so it was like one of them things. So they arrested him out in Atlantic City. Yeah. So not only that, man, I gotta put this out there. So at the weigh-ins, I'm in Delorme face looking at him, and I'm like, I can tell he's just a little timid. But just because you're timid don't mean that you can't fight. No, but I still want to work on his timidness. Right, so I'm just like, yeah. So I'm in his face, I'm at the weigh-ins right before we about to weigh. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and I quote, I'm like, you smell like pussy, right? So, anyways, he pushed me, and then we almost getting a fight. Oh, this is so typical. No, bro, it's on there. You gotta see it because what I'm gonna tell you next. So then they took like 20,000 from me from the punk ass push. Oh. Yes, 20,000. So anyways, though, no, 20 racks. Not only that,
it's funny.
After that,
oh shit, I saw all that.
I'm looking at the social media stuff. Mayfield licks opponent's chest. Yes, bro. They made it. But they had so the video kind of looked like I was like, nigga, you smell like pussy. But then somebody was like nigga, I looked at nigga. But I'm like, what the? I'm like, what the, bro? Yeah, bro. I'm like, what the? First of all, what kind of scare tactic is that? Bro, what kind of scare tactic is that?
That wasn't his camp.
It could have been. I don't know, bro. So it fucked with me though for sure. But I had my boy. Shouts out to Ellie Setback again. Ellie Setback found footage to show somebody with them showing that I was just like. But it was already out there by then. Like, now they calling me hard hitter chest licker. Bruh. So all this is in my mind, bruh. I'm like, yeah, bro. So watch when you Google it, though. You'll see it kind of did lightweight look like something, though. So, bruh, nevertheless, man, as you mentioned, I wasn't beat up, battered, or bruised in that fight. And to be honest, though, they should have taken points from him. He hit me in no low blows. Yeah, because they hit me with 3 low blows. In hindsight, I would have took the I would have. That's part of the game. I should have. Yeah, but that's just me being a street cat. All the pride and shit ain't going on. I'm okay. But I should have really taken it. If he hit me 3 times, I should have been I should have been disqualification. But I'm like, nigga, let's get it on.
Could have got extra time.
No, facts, bro. Yeah, but so yeah, man. Nevertheless, though, just to answer your question, I think just due to the it being circumstantial, that was my toughest fight. Not taking nothing away from him. He was definitely a good opponent. But just on the strength of me having not as much time that I needed to get prepared, then all the other shit on the backstory definitely had my mind out of it, bro, for sure.
Yeah. And part of that fight really is the conditioning of the mind.
Absolutely.
So if a nigga throw you up, what's that nigga's name? Shannon Briggs?
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, this shit does really play a part in fucking up a nigga's mentality. Shannon Briggs was fucking with Klitschko the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
He walking in the restaurant, eating his food off of his plate. That's a tough.
I've seen that.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, the mentality is real. But I had no idea that happened.
Did Klitschko murder him in that fight?
Did they fight? Did they eventually get the fight? I don't think they ended up eventually get to it.
Trying to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to get the
He was showing up to his restaurant and shit, grabbing nigga food, eating and shit. Yeah.
Klitschko's in a restaurant eating, and Shannon Briggs comes in and like bare hand. I want to eat what the champ eat.
Yeah. I think
Klitschko's a cool.
And then Klitschko threw water in his face though. Like,
yeah. Shannon goes off, but it's like,
yeah.
dog, wow.
Yeah, I don't. Hey, Shannon ain't got nothing. No Klitschko to it.
No, right? No, hell no. Nah, yeah.
That kind of there.
Yeah, it was monsters.
Because Klitschko was a monster.
Definitely was. Both of you
play around.
But you did not get pummeled in that fight. I mean, you obviously know because you done watched it several million times. But
I actually though, funny thing though, I actually just watched it last month for the first time.
Stop playing.
Yeah, and actually watching that fight, you know, I've never watched it because it's not on. A lot of times they tend to fights that's kind of it's hard to find on on YouTube. Certain fights that could have went certain ways. I'm like, what the hell? It's like 2-3 fights of mine that definitely could have went my way though.
Yeah.
They can't find them on YouTube. But nevertheless though, looking at that fight, I'm like, damn, bro. Like if I know, for one, I'm not gonna blame it on my trainer. You know what I mean? But I know if we had a real game plan,
that's legit.
100% though, I could have. We would have executed the game plan. And then going back to this thinking of my sparring, I was sparring people. We made sure we got tall guys that was taller than me because he was pretty tall for his weight. But you know, I only had I had guys that was aggressive coming to me, opposed to having guys he was more counter. Yeah, so it's different. You used to. It's a whole different game, man.
Reem, you know, in fact, you would have kind of like studied it. I'm not proficient in boxing like that, but I would tend to think like, you know, that's kind of like a case study. Like, okay, I lost. Let me see what I did wrong. Let me watch this motherfucker a million times over just to, you get what I'm saying?
But the reason why I didn't find it is because I couldn't find it. And the homie Mark Ortega literally just told me, hey, I got your Delorme fight. I was like, what? Just last month. Yeah, man, I watched that shit. Yeah. Hell yeah.
It probably got put out recently.
Right.
It's funny, it's like when I first met you, I ain't gonna hold you, my man, you know, we ain't gonna put all of this on film like that, but you know, I know a couple people in the life from Frisco and Oakland and shit, and your family rings bells. The homie's like, oh, that's Mochetta's brother. I was like, oh, for real?
Hell yeah.
But like I said, on some whole extra shit, it's like
literally,
niggas saying you ringing bells.
Niggas really know, man. Niggas really know.
No, straight up.
Some whole other shit is like I said, first meeting you, I was like, man, I ain't even know. I asked, I was like, I just met a cat named Kareem. He was like, oh man, that's Mochetta brother, man. You didn't know? I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a couple of fights, but the one fight I happened to see was that
long
and I was like,
right.
Homie didn't lose. And it could have went the other way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you had an illustrious career.
Yeah, but
and that two-piece, actually it's not little, but you know, that two-piece of yarn, Jack, the nigga was stiff right up.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay.
And it's what you said though, but I've never told this story though that, you know, the reason why I lost, you know, because I just take an L, you know, I just take on the chin. But literally, like,
I know today, 20,000 for a push.
But yeah, they hit me for 20 for a push, bro. Shady, bro. Yeah. Shady business. 20 grand. And like I said though, but you didn't know about the lick shit. You didn't know about my coach being there, and you know about my manager going to jail. Go Google all that. But they said my manager up cold though, but he's just a little game goofy. Shouts out to he out now, but he's just a little game goofy, and they suckered him in and did entrapment.
Right.
And basically, hey, do you have any, you know, yep.
Quick interjection, folk.
Yep.
We are literally in Colombia. We are sitting between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Typically, year-round, the light cycle will be 12-12 to 13-11. So for the most part, it's going to happen here depending on the altitude of where these plants are going. Right. That's why the best sativa, like for the most part, is sea level, you know, up to a certain amount of feet. And then they have really, really good indica that grows up in the hills of Santa Marta and Medellin.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to Los Guajiros up in the northeast section of Colombia. Those are the natives that are making it happen from antiquity. from before this weed shit was even popular from the 60s on. They've been indigenously doing their thing from a long time ago.
Big up to Carlos Vives and Black
Black Tuna
for
Peace
allowing us
Players.
to come to their spot this last weekend and putting us on game. It was nothing but love, nothing but education. It was true essence of what Inhale Excel was all about. That was an awesome experience. Looking forward to hanging out with them and then obviously picking his brain and figuring out how I can learn what he knows.
Sure.
I don't know everything about this game. I am learning it as I go. I am the host of the show, but the show is basically educating me in the process. And what I've decided was like, if I'm going to be in this game, I want to know everything about it.
Right.
It kind of developed into, one to just, first of all, crush the stigma. The thing that we're dealing with primarily as cannabis entrepreneurs and anybody that's in this game is we're merging two different groups of people, two demographics. So the older people who are stuck on what the cannabis was, right? And then the younger people that don't know what cannabis is.
Right.
Okay, so there's a merging of education that goes on here. It's very imperative for us to get to the point where we're trying to get to. It's important to know we're talking about Colombia, when we're in Colombia, but understand there's 40 countries in the world that have cannabis products, either they're manufacturing it, producing it some way, shape, or form. Right. That's basically a quarter of the nations in the world, right? We are seeing a real movement of an international cannabis community, and it's slowly but surely moving in a positive direction. Morocco just turned, Germany just turned, Thailand just turned. We have Spain's been doing it for a while.
Yes, sir.
A lot of these are medicinal. Now, there's only 4 countries in the entire world where it's completely legal, where it's medicinal legal or recreational legal. In fact, when they take one away, because I was thinking Colombia was that.
Almost.
Uruguay, Canada, and
Uruguay.
And America.
America is not recreational.
It's not recreational. Not all over.
All over the country.
Federal.
Specific states. You're
Not
right.
federal.
You're
Canada,
right. You're right.
Uruguay,
Absolutely.
Thailand, 100% completely legal.
That's right.
So
not federally.
flock there and
nationally.
smoke weed and partake in it, because the more that people are using it and using it and using it, the better the opportunity is going to be for everybody. And see, the most important thing about this whole conversation is nobody looks like us that's doing this.
Exactly.
Right? So
Facts.
We're 1%.
We might even be less than that because when I started doing the numbers of vertical integration and guys that actually own stores and the whole damn thing, we can count them on 2 or 3 hands.
Wow. Here go the extra hurt piece behind that story. What up? Indigenously speaking, it was us who started it.
There's no question.
Period in the story. The indigenous people of Santa Marta and Medellin look like us.
Hey, we started it, we pioneered it, and we kept it going for this thus far.
You know, it's even better. No, it's not better, but the other fact is that we did the time for it.
Right.
That's right.
Prosecuted.
That's
for
right.
it. We were the
Facts.
ones that were locked up.
That's right.
That's right. The time for
Till this day.
You know what I mean?
Till this day.
No, that's real.
Shouts out to Wilder.
Quote from a boxer, nigga.
Shouts out to Wilder, man. Till this day.
And I say all that to say, for the people out there that's listening and watching this show, and they're inspired by the fucking shit that we talking about, we worked hard to get here.
Facts.
We had every obstacle in the way of us getting to this point, because first of all, cannabis costs a whole shitload of money.
Costs money.
It costs a lot of money in order to do it.
It's a
You
know-how.
gotta have a specialized education.
Sure.
That's right.
Knowing how that plant works, and it
Know-how.
talks to you. From what I understand, I'm not a grower. When I talk to cultivators, they say, "Hey, the plant talks to you.
Absolutely.
Tells you when it needs water.
That
Tells you
plant
when
is
the lights
alive.
sound right.
The
It
whole
tells you
nine.
everything.
That's right.
And if you just listen, and you just watch this plant, it's resilient. It can literally go through almost anything. And my man was just talking to me about, he got a homeboy. I figured out how to grow that shit in sand. Like beach sand.
Beach sand. The man knows how to throw in all the extras that needs to be, and he can grow in beach sand.
That's new.
Even
Innovative.
deeper, right?
Innovative.
Even deeper, right?
Shout out, brother Gumbo.
Shout out to Gumbo. Shout out to Gumbo. But even more importantly, there's zero waste from this plant. We have figured out, now, this is a new thing, okay? Like in the last 20 years, it's figured out how to turn it into distillate, turn it into oils, concentrates, figured out how once it's made into that form, we can make edibles, we can make all these other products. So now there's no waste from it. The product, the plant is literally miraculous.
You can make rope.
Remember you
That can make
like Carlos
He's
recycles.
using it for fertilizer. He's using it for everything.
Yeah. Using it for compost and fertilizer. You're a beast, my man.
What's the future of 415, man? Do you have any aspirations to open up more stores? Do you want to get more licenses? Other than the fact that we're going out of the country to Morocco to set up over there. But anything else that you want to share about your company?
Right.
We'll leave it with that.
Good question. Well, the future for Authentic 415 is, I say for sure, is to expand and vertically integrate. As I mentioned, my partners though, they are vertically integrated as a huge company, as a machine. But I like to venture off of myself and slowly but surely start to do my own thing. And here I am, networking, and this podcast has definitely helped me already in several of my endeavors. One to mention, I'm actually I was able to get out there just to put out there about my my nonprofit program, and then I eventually was able to lock down a mafia grant, and so I got a big grant, man. Literally, was able to lock that down, man, and I have a nonprofit teaching boxing youth and mentorship. It's a boxing youth mentorship program. They also learn how to build apps from tech, mobile apps. So they learn tech, then they learn technique.
Right.
So yeah,
That's
man.
right. I
So
like that.
and yeah, man. As I mentioned, in the cannabis industry, we're probably with less percent, and also in the tech industry as black men, it's just the same thing. So we're trying to represent right now.
Cannabis has emerged into technology.
Right.
That's really
Absolutely.
what it's become now. We are understanding the technology side of it. How we refine it, how we package it. All these things are tech. And then just to expand on what you were saying about the projects you do with the kids.
Right.
My ass went out there one day. I didn't realize I was in my 40s until I went out there and I did that with this brother here. I was hurting for a week. I'm talking about, bro. I have muscles hurting that I ain't even know existed.
Hey,
you took him through the ringer, huh?
Yeah.
Reem was like, "Yeah, man, see you next week." I was like,
Boy, get your ass up.
Hey, I hadn't seen him since, but I can't say this though.
I hadn't seen the nigga since.
No, I can't say this though. To be honest, I thought I was though, because he was doing so good though. He definitely an athlete. He got hand skills. He got hand skills. He showed off, but he showed off to finish off, I guess. Like he humbly bowed out. There you go.
He fulfilled his requirements.
Yes.
But that second time coming, think about that. You know what I mean?
And I said that to say is that, like, out of respect, for athletes and those of you that are training out there and doing your thing, I can understand and appreciate the type of effort and energy it takes. And then also, on top of that, you taking the time out of your day. There was a bunch of young kids there. It was a group of people. It was all age groups, all different demographics. You was in a hot gym, you know what I mean? Over in the corner, you know what I mean? Cats playing ball in there, and it was like right in the hood, and it was a beautiful thing.
The hood.
And I was able to kind of like, you get to see the youngsters and their training, you know what I mean?
Right.
My old ass with Naughty, we was over there, you know what I'm saying? We left up out of there like.
Circuit.
Had to go lay down.
Nigga was exhausted. A little tired.
So
It's hot.
How do the kids get in touch with you? Somebody else says about boxing, or
sports or anything like that? Is there a way they can reach out to you personally?
No, absolutely. I'm a cool cat. You can always reach out to me any questions. I like to, spread it around because shit comes back around full circle. So I don't mind giving up the game. I don't mind giving up a little help. But you can find me at Karim Hitta Mayfield on Instagram. But for Soul Champ, that's the name of my boxing and mentorship program. Soul Champ, be a champion in your own soul, a guru you, and I'm a master me. And that's saying, man, we gonna be what we gotta be. You feel me? That's right. Hey, so there you have it.
Desi,
How the cats get in touch with you if they want to ask you some questions?
Oh man, you can't really holler at me, bro.
You can't like, oh, they want some personal training, man.
No, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at Delarel on Instagram.
Spell it for the people.
Delarel. That's it's like a mix of my first, middle, and last name. Delarel, Desmond Lamont Relaford, but yeah, Delarel. You know what I'm saying? That's what I go by. At Delarel, reach out and I'll get to you. I won't say it will be like right away,
Right.
but I will definitely get back. Get back. Questions?
Decent on that, Jay.
Yeah, about anything. Baseball oriented, trees oriented, mindset oriented. Also, I'm a nutritionist, so nutrition oriented. I'm a man of many hats.
He's trying to be cool, man. The man is a life coach, y'all. He trying to play along. He trying to play along, and he do a lot.
I do a little coaching. I'm in music. I've run record labels in the past. Making music now.
Shout out 6-Hole.
6-Hole Records. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my man, Basic
and Peyton Lock. You heard?
Lock. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yeah, man. That's where you can reach out to me. You can hit me on Instagram, and we can definitely link. Because if you're into baseball and weed and smart shit, I'm your guy.
Nah, real talk. Anybody else want to drop a dime on them? Anything else that you guys want to leave?
I would like if there's any, I don't know, if there's young guys out there who are thinking about, hey, this is what I want to do, whether it's baseball, whether it's growing weed. My thing is you always want to do something that you really enjoy doing. Like follow your heart, man. Like you don't need to, you don't have to do what your parents say. If your parents are super smart and they got a plan for you, maybe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to follow what your parents say. You don't have to follow what your teachers say, your friends. You have to follow your own heart, and do what it is you want to do. Because when you're doing what you want to do, you're happy. It's just the bottom line. Whether you're making money at it. Now, the smart thing is to be able to monetize what you love doing and make money at doing what you love doing. But follow your heart.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I can, kind of reach out to people and get your passport.
Right. There you go. Get your passport. Hey.
Passport.
Immediately.
See the world, because everything that you've heard about what's going on in the world is not necessarily true. I've been a lot of places, and when I get there, what I was told as an American is not what was going down at the place that I've been. So get your passport and go do your own research. See what it is. See the world. And follow your heart.
All right. Well, my last words in closing.
Take that lightly, y'all.
Take it lightly. My last words in closing is, every day you wake up can be a fight, and when you look in the mirror, your toughest opponent is staring right at you. This fight of life represents obstacles, knockdowns, and letdowns. And at the end of the day, the only thing you own is your soul. So own it. Be the best you. Be the champion of your own soul. Soul salvations. Win. That's it. Win.
It don't get no more fundamental than that, y'all.
There you
y'all
have
really don't understand that concept. Y'all done lost. Period in the story.
But I want to say one thing though. The losses that you're doing kind of help you to become the better.
Without a
person
doubt.
you are.
You learn more through failure than you do through winning. So when you do fail, understand why you failed, make the adjustment, and
It ain't over.
pushing.
Exactly.
It ain't over.
It's not over. It's just it's an obstacle.
And remember this. Lastly, there's chapters of life, y'all. Just switch this chapter. When it feel like it's over, it ain't. It's just another chapter to be switched, man. And there you have it.
Well, let me just say this. No, it's not over, but this podcast.
Yeah.
So I just want to say to the people out there, shout out to my people out there. This right here is Inhale Exhale. We are live right now, Cartagena, Colombia. I'm with my man Desi. I'm with my man Reem.
Yeet.
I'm with the Lord Funk X.
We in this thing.
And we putting it down. Inhale Exhale, Colombia edition, travel edition. Check us out. We're going to Morocco. We're going to Thailand. Come with us.
Shout out to Syed.
Shout out to Side. Shout out to the side. I see you, baby. I see you.
Hey.
Check this out, though. We about to cut, because we about to burn some of that reefer, Franklin.
Yay. Oh, boy.
All right.
Good job, fellas.
sale.